Hi, I'm Riley Moynes, author of The 4 Phases of Retirement and its sequel, The 10 Lessons. We're speaking with people who are squeezing all the juice out of their retirement. People with widely divergent backgrounds, experience, and expertise. People with stories that can inspire and encourage you too to squeeze all the juice out of your retirement. Thanks for joining us for today's conversation. Here we go. My guest today is Marj Andre. During her working career, Marj spent 12 years with the Toronto Region Conservation Authority, and during her time there was assigned several different responsibilities. Since her retirement in 2010, she's become deeply involved in her community, Richmond Hill, Ontario, just north of Toronto, where she's lived for 30 years, and you'll hear more about this shortly. Marj, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
Look forward to our conversation. Let's start with your kind of an overview of your time at the Conservation Authority. Tell us about your work there and how that might have impacted some of your subsequent activities, if you would.
I love being out in nature, so being with the Toronto Region Conservation Authority at many of their sites, it allowed me to do that. So I love going to work. I love being in the actual places. I was able to get, the job had me encourage others to come out for ranging events, weddings, and such. And the idea of being out in nature is just something I think is so, so important.
Tell me, when you stepped back from your involvement at the Conservation Authority, how did you become so deeply involved in community work? What was it that motivated that?
I have always been involved with the community, if it's with my family when they were young, just getting people together. I saw the real value. It's sort of something I really, really loved to do. Mm-hmm. And with the work at TRCA, I was doing that. There was a reorganization. I would no longer be doing that. And that's really what set me on the journey to leave TRCA, which in many ways I loved. Mm-hmm. But I realized I would not be fulfilled if I kept there. Staying there.
Marj is currently involved with the Richmond Hill Historical Society and the Board of Trade, and was previously a library board member. But for about the last 10 years, Marj has been the director of an organization called onrichmondhill.com. Tell us about that one, Marj.
Onrichmondhill.com is really the business aspect of what I do. It's a website, an email newsletter that lets encourage people to be active in their community. There are amazing amount of events that happen that most people don't know about. We can have a very enriched life without going that far. I've got to know the people that are doing these events, and they really need help at getting the word out. And so it's been a real pleasure doing that, finding out what's happening, sending the newsletter out, learning a little bit about technology. And it's been really a positive journey. I've got to know so many great people doing great things.
Right. Now, it's a weekly newsletter, and I understand that it goes to about 6,000 people now.
Yes, yeah. So it's got a broad reach, and those people are those that are leaders in our community. Those are the heads of organizations. People are active. People who talk to others. So it's a select group. I wish it was more, but I am pleased. The people who get it, they are the ones who get out. They are the ones that tell other people.
Mm-hmm. Now, you are involved with another organization, or you've started another organization called Connecting Community, and you've been at that for about 7 years. And I know that group meets every Tuesday. And tell us about that. Who goes to that, and what's the purpose of it all?
Connecting the community, a lot of people refer to it as networking. And I say, no, it's not quite networking like with the Board of Trade. I refer to it as cross-sector collaboration. So people from all different sectors of the community, if you're from business, if you're with a church, a faith-based group, a nonprofit, music, entertainment, or retirees just looking forward to being back and doing something, people who want to get involved with the community, it's often a gateway for that. Right. So we have about 40, 50 people come each week from all sectors. You have young, you have those in their 80s, you have all different cultures, all different backgrounds, a lot of really interesting people. So Yeah, we've been doing now for 7 years. Started in a coffee shop, and now it's we're at the theater for the while, and now we're in the a church, and it's going very well.
Yeah, that's great. As if those two things weren't involved, you decided about a year or so ago that there should be a Richmond Hill speaker series.
Yes.
How did that one come about?
The idea of having an enriched life is one of my goals, and I was told about one happening in Aurora, so it's about a half an hour drive. And going up there, they were great. I really enjoyed it. But why am I driving all the way up to Aurora? We should be having it here. So with a friend who's going with me, same values, she said, yeah, let's see if we can talk to the local theater, the Richmond Hill Center for Performing Arts, to see if we could have it there. Took a little bit of convincing. The theater manager thought, wow, we need entertainment. Listening to a prof really isn't entertainment. Well, we proved them wrong, and we've got their speaker series. The theater is very impressed with what we are doing, and we follow a model that recognizes it's for the older adult. It's some third age learning is a concept that we've borrowed but tweaked it a bit.
Right.
So they are during the day. There are a number of people who come who cannot go out in the evening.
Right.
We also don't have it during the summer, because you may go to the cottage. You don't have it in the January, February, the winter months. Older adults don't like to go out.
Sure.
Or they have gone down south.
Right.
So they gone to the warmer weather. So that's why we have the spring and the summer series, and it's been really very positive. So many positive comments, people thanking us for organizing it.
Tell me about the most recent of the series. A series of what, 3-4 speakers? Tell me a little bit about them.
The fall one it has had 6 speakers. The real range, and that's done on purpose, that you have topics about the Middle East chessboard, the fruitful city of downtown Toronto, wrongful convictions. It's music is often some of them, adventures, travel.
Right.
So there's a whole range.
Right.
And we encourage people to buy this series so they end up going to something that they would not have normally gone to. Like, I have no interest in that, but you've got this series, so you go and like, woo!
Right.
And it's good. The speaker series also brings together people, and people come early. They know they better get the coffee on a half an hour early because people are going to be coming, meeting with them. There's a break afterwards. There's a lot of conversation. Like, people don't just run out of the theater. They stop and have good conversations. And I'm very happy with that.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Now, in addition, you're a founding member of Pathways to Reconciliation in Richmond Hill.
Yeah, there was a group of us who had a yearning to be able to respond to the reconciliation report, that we should be doing it. It's not easy to do when you live here. Most of us have very little contact with Indigenous people. One friend had gone up to do a documentary on the Walk for Cheney Wenjack, which was part of the Gord Downey Fund. And he put together a 17-minute documentary. No one's going to come out to a 17-minute documentary, so we needed to put more together, and it ended up becoming this fantastic event. We had almost sold out, and then Gord Downey passes away a few days before, so it was like we were more than sold out to capacity. We ended that saying, okay, this is the beginning of our pathway towards reconciliation. Right. And for about a year, we didn't do anything, and it didn't feel good. We also had $500 in the bank, and we had to do something with that. So we've been meeting and still just supporting other causes, bringing to the forefront Indigenous issues through websites, through having different events, supporting them. We will be coming in next year doing some our own events, but it's sort of following the model, Indigenous model of people sitting around the table talking, not having a strict agenda, not somebody being in control, but just talking. And people, the group that comes, and we keep having new people, love it. They just like, this feels good.
Yeah, opportunities for them. Marj, I understand that recently as well you have become involved with and in fact created an organization called the Council of Accountability group.
Yes. Council Accountability Group is this, again, responding to a real need in our community to have our council be accountable. There are issues there, and we need to respond to them rather than just say, oh, we don't like what council is doing. We need to have a higher rate of engagement. Municipal politics, there's usually only about 35% voter turnout. That's no, but I'm not mad at people for not getting involved. When you ask them, they don't have enough knowledge. They don't know how the issues. So we need to help them. And we're bringing, again, a great group of people, very intelligent, learning lots about bylaws and how to respond. Getting over the intimidation for going to a council meeting. So those are practical things we're doing, and we're already having adjacent municipalities saying to us, oh, okay, how are you doing this? And we haven't quite yet figured out what we're doing, but it's a concept that I feel like we ought to patent, because there really is a need to have other municipalities have their council be accountable.
There certainly is a theme in your activities of community engagement. There's just no question about that. So I need to ask you then, when you retired, when you stepped back from the Conservation Authority, did you know that you'd be heading down this path, or did it just kind of happen for you?
Yeah, like on Richmond Hill, the website was what I was going to do. And it was like what I really got excited about was understanding, meeting the people that are part of our community, finding what the needs are. And one thing that I soon identified was people don't know each other. They don't know what else is out in the community. The consequence for that is really, people are not effective. Things are not happening. And I was frustrated, and that is why I call CTC, Connecting the Community, started, was let's bring people together. They need to know what others are doing. They're more effective.
Right. And then each of your subsequent activities has kind of pushed that forward, it seems, as well.
Yeah.
So tell me then, is your current involvement a continuation, or is it a kind of a rewiring for you? It sounds to me like there's a continuation of previous interests.
Yeah, it was that has always been a dominant interest for me. We need to connect people up. We need to get them out there planning and organizing. Bringing people together is one of my fundamental principles in life.
Right. So what do you get out of all of this involvement? What's in it for you, if I can put it that way? I don't mean financially, but just what's in it for you psychically?
Yeah, no, I feel good. I really do. Just bringing people together, seeing the value. It's like you're feeding something. When you get people together, more happens, and you're building a better community. And that is in your own self-interest. If you live in a better community, your needs are met as well. So the idea that you can do it alone is a false belief. You need others out there. And yes.
Yeah. Part of the theme that we're working on in this podcast series is this idea of squeezing all the juice out of retirement. And you're certainly someone who's doing that, in my opinion.
Thank you.
What does that phrase mean to you when you hear it?
Yeah, it's not a phrase that I would normally use, but it's really like, okay, because when you're saying that, it's almost making you realize that it's squeezing, you've got a limited amount. And I am aware of it sometimes, like people you hear about, there've been tragedy, there's been issues with them, they cannot do things. Right. So you're aware of that, and it's good to have that amount of awareness, but you need to wake up every morning thinking you've got great potential of being able to do things. And that's a better way of looking at it than, I may not be able to do too much. Right. So it's sort of philosophy that I want to be able to do as much as I can, and when I can't, okay, but let's not think about that.
Well, you can, let's do it.
Yeah.
So someone comes along to you and says, Marj, you're squeezing all the juice out of retirement. What advice do you have for me so I can also squeeze all the juice out of retirement? What advice would you give them?
think less about having material things, but more about having experiences and friendships and doing things. So that's, I think, rather than accumulating in wealth and such, really valuing more the friendships, the interactions, the experiences.
Yeah. One of the other themes that we're developing in the series is this concept of don't retire, but rewire. What does that phrase mean to you when you hear it?
Yeah, it is. The idea of retiring, sitting back, not doing anything, I think is a death sentence. Yeah. So you really want to be out there doing things. You should always be rewiring yourself at every stage of your life. And we've got so much potential.
Yeah. And the statistics are showing that it's quite likely, quite possible, that many baby boomers are going to spend 1/3 of their lives in retirement. And so they need to ask that question about how they're going to do activities that are meaningful and significant to them, and not just sitting in the rocking chair and waiting for the end to come. Marj, tell me, what sort of plans? You've got lots going on right now. What sort of plans do you have for the future?
Well, actually, I'm fortunate to be having a home built in Honduras as part of a Canadian development. There's some interesting people down there. Many of them are from out west, so I'm getting up in this whole issue of development of a pipeline.
Western alienation
or Wexit. Yeah, so I'm okay. I've got to be able to respond to that. Right. But one thing about, I don't like the cold. I like the cold less the older I get. So being able to walk around on a beach in the warmth with shorts and t-shirt and bare feet that's my ideal. I don't mind doing some work. I can do my on Richmond Hill work and everything else. There's internet down there, so I'd rather be sitting in the edge of my pool than sitting in the cold here.
Exactly.
So yes.
How much time do you plan to spend in Honduras when you kind of get into the rhythm of it?
Okay, I'm asked that question all the time, and I won't. The way I respond to it is, let's see what life presents itself with. Okay. So I'm not going to set myself up for disappointment. Right. It could be a lot. It really depends on what else is happening in your life, in terms of your physical well-being, in terms of your family issues and such. So whatever makes sense.
Right. Now, you also have a property up north, and you live in Richmond Hill, and you said that you have some juggling issues from time to time.
Yes, I do. I have a beautiful cottage, beautiful piece of property up in the Minden, Haliburton area, and we've had it for 20 years. And 20 years ago, it was a place that you just went to get away from everything else. And now things are shifting, and I'm becoming more part of the community, and I've become able to appreciate more about what it has offer. Internet access is good. Sure. My cell phone works better up there than it does here. So I can be up there doing my work and, taking a break and let's go for a kayak ride. Like now I'll go for swimming and then I'll go back at the work. Yeah. Why not?
Exactly. Now you say you're getting more involved in the community up there. What sort of initiatives are you taking there? As if you haven't got enough going on here.
Yeah, we actually had a Candle 150 with our local community of Ingoldsby, population of I don't know how many, handful, and that was really quite positive, bringing the community together up there. And the question, okay, now what we're going to do. Yeah. So we need to have something else there. Right. The arts community is really thriving up there. So just to be able to partake in that. I like to attend when they have speaker series up there as well, often themed for nature and such. I will go to that. And environmental movements. Elizabeth May has connections up there too. It's... their way of looking after the environment is a little different than here because it's right out their back door. If it's lake water quality, all those issues, the issues of flooding, they feel it. And so it's been interesting to watch what's happening there.
You just can't help yourself. You just have to get involved with the community.
I do, yes. Yeah.
Now, if you'd like to connect with Marj and learn more about her community involvement, go to onrichmondhill.com or Marj at marjandre.com. Marj, thank you very much for being with me today. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
I hope you've enjoyed today's conversation and that you'll join us again next time as we help you squeeze all the juice out of retirement. I'm Riley Moynes. Bye for now.